What it do, y'all? It's your boy Nate Almighty, aka the Global Dark Skin Ambassador. I like to speak on those of us who have dealt with parents who have problems fighting alcohol. My stepfather was a very dramatic and sloppy alcoholic. His name is John. My mother got with him probably when I was like 8 years old. They've been together ever since. Things were fine for maybe like the first year or so. And then I noticed one day that this man had a problem. And that day was when I was maybe like 10, 11 years old. He took me and his son out and he was drunk. Something happened. We ended up not seeing the movie, coming home, and he got into an argument with my mom. And he ended up leaving. We had a washing machine in the living room by the doors. I don't remember why, but I remember him being angry and knocking the washing machine down to the floor. And it was that day that I realized that this great guy who my mother was with had a problem. And from that moment, I started viewing him different. And, you know, just like the typical story of, you know, people who love each other, they would break up and they would make up. And it'd be cool for a couple of days, and then John would get drunk again. I hated that man. I hated him a lot. You know, I remember even being, you know, 13, 14, 15, and like literally planning to kill him. Like premeditating it. You know, but ultimately, as much as I wanted to do that as a kid, I knew how much it would hurt my mother, so I never went along with it. Plus, you know, I would have threw away my life, of course. I hated that man. I hated him a lot, you know, been through a lot. I've seen a lot of fights. I've seen a lot of stuff get destroyed. I've been in the middle of a lot of screaming. I never seen him put his hands on my mother. My mother never walked around with, you know, a black eye or nothing. But I remember feeling like it was about to get there. And he was about to put his hands on my mother, but I always, you know, interrupted the argument or whatever. Like I said, I didn't like him. However, he was always there. He was always there when things happened or something happened to me. He would always be there for me on behalf of my mother. And as much as I hated him, I always knew that that man did love me like his son. As I got older and I got heavy into the streets, the dynamics kind of changed in our house because I realized that I was becoming bigger than him. And he was beginning to lose weight, things to do with drinking and stuff like that. And just the dynamics changed. I realized that he was scared of me. And partly he started drinking even more because of that. So I continued to hate him at that time. But when things started to change a little bit and I started to gain more introspective sight of the situation was when I was 17 and I went to Rikers Island. And now, when I was on Rikers Island, I noticed that every time my mother came to see me, and she came to see me a lot because I lost the girls I was dealing with very early. And, you know, my friends, we were all young, 16, 17, 18. It wasn't too much to expect from them. So my moms came to see me most of the time and held me down. And John was always with her. I remember being a couple times where my mother couldn't make it and John still came to see me. You know what I mean? Just so I could have some type of connection to the outside. And When I was in jail, going to the box and stuff like that, and doing deeper thoughts and reading and stuff like that, I started understanding and remembering things that my mother told me about how, you know, John's father was an alcoholic, and, you know, he physically abused, you know, his children, and that caused John a tremendous amount of pain, you know what I'm saying? And I started to understand that the way I acted outside was because of stuff that I went through as a kid. And the way he acted and what contributed to his alcoholism was because of stuff that he went through. And slowly but surely, I started to appreciate the man for who he was when he was in his good state, more than all the negative stuff that we went through, you know what I'm saying? So once I came home, our relationship started to, at first, it was still, you know, weird, you know, but you know, I noticed that when I had my first son, Cameron, I remember him being drunk, and I brought Cameron home, and he asked me, like, can I be his grandfather? Is that my grandson? And I told him, yeah. You know, and I remember he still was a heavy alcoholic for maybe the first 2 years of my son's life, but eventually he got himself clean. He did, and I will forever have love and respect for him for that, because I know how hard it is to give up any addiction. You know, my mother still struggles with alcohol from time to time, even though it's not as worse as it used to be when both of them were drinking heavy. But I noticed that man really made a change in order to be here to protect my mother and be able to watch over my son at times when I wasn't there, or his mother wasn't there at the moment. And I will always appreciate that man for being there for me when I was in jail, or when I was a kid, the little instances we had where it was good, you know what I'm saying? And I understand that his traumas led him to go on the path and the journey that he went on. So to anyone dealing with parents who are dealing with alcoholism or any other type of drug addiction, understand that they need help before anything. You know, they need help, they need understanding. And through understanding and self-realization, they can begin to heal. And when they begin to heal, then they can shed their addictions. But it's going to take time. They're going to fall and bump their head a couple times, you know. It was times where I felt like he was never going to stop drinking. He was just going to be a sloppy alcoholic that nobody liked and everybody felt sorry for. But it's been at least 5 years where this man has basically been all the way clean, and I couldn't be happier, you know. And he takes care of my mom very well, you know. You know what I'm saying? And my mother needs that, you know. So, like I said, like, comment, share, subscribe. This is for those of you who have loved ones who are dealing with addictions. There is a brighter side on the other side. You know, Lord willing, we make it to that place. Peace.